Well, oh, we're almost there. Almost there. We got quite a bit done. I'm sorry I haven't really videoed much. My freaking editing software, the CapCut I've been using, that went down. So that kind of sucks as far as editing. And I had a whole video freaking edited and ready and done. And they said, no, we're no longer using, or app's no longer up or whatever. And I was like, anyways, so let me show you guys what I'll be done. So first and foremost, we got new flooring down, and I am super pleased and super happy. It's a little dirty right now, and it looks a little dusty, but honestly, by the time that we get everything kind of lined out and finished, I think it's gonna be looking pretty good. So here is the living room. You can see we still are doing quite a bit of work. That's some scrap carpet that we got over here. But check this out. So right here above my head, we just put a beam here, and it's a false beam, but basically it's a red oak, and we have it going all the way up towards here. And I think it's gonna look pretty damn good once we're finished up with it. I'm pretty happy with it so far. But yeah, we are pretty much just about finished painting. My wife's going through and she's doing some like touch-ups in a couple of places. There's one other place that we got to take care of, and that's right above the fridge, which I've been dreading doing because I really just don't want to get up there and do that. So I'm going to kind of coerce my wife to do that. Anyways, so yeah, we're going to be finishing putting up this beam right above my head here up tomorrow, and we're going to be putting the doors back up. And I just got done planing and helping my cousin cut and staining, as you can see with my dirty ass hands, the trim that's going to go all along. Basically is what we're going to be using for baseboards, and it's going to be the same stain that we're using for that wall that's over there, so everything looks kind of nice and what's the word I'm looking for, uniform, right? Anyways, so another cool thing that I'm going to do eventually, I don't know exactly when, how, or whatnot, but I'm also going to replace this door. I'm going to try to get double doors that kind of swing it in and out. And then as time moves on, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to eventually take all of this trim right here out, and I'm going to replace it with pine trim that we cut, and I'm gonna stain it with that right there. And then it's gonna look the same throughout the entirety of the house. I think it's gonna look a little bit better. I don't know. That's kind of been my my thing over and over again with this place, is that you go and take something down and try to replace it, and it ends up not being the best. Like a good example would be these tack strips I was hooking out. You can see that there's actually a hump even in the camera. So like you can see that it follows here were the tack strips before, and then it goes on up, and you can see where I mudded over it and I sanded and sanded and sanded, and it still don't quite look right, but it looks pretty good though for the most part. I mean, you know, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, especially with these freaking trailers. I'm just trying to make it look a little bit less like a trailer. I did take out, or we, took out this little shelving unit that's really broken right there. I wasn't really a fan of that, so we took it out, and then what I did is I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in a safe right here. And it's gonna be a pretty large safe. And it's gonna fill up this area, and it's gonna go right about 6 foot high. So it's somewhat in line with that over there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I don't. Yeah, I just don't know. But we got the fireplace working. That's pretty cool, nice and warm. I really enjoy that. And then we're gonna hang the TV up here, and then hopefully be able to sit here, watch TV. And then I got my patio right there. I'm gonna be really happy once everything's said and done. But And we got power out in the shop out here. So that's pretty cool too. We got power out in the shop. So now we're actually using the shop and not using the inside or just right outside out here. It's been freaking cold, stupid cold, like 22 degrees cold. And with wind, some freaking strong ass wind. So it makes it just about unbearable being out there. Anyways, so that's about my biggest update that I got so far. I really want to try to make this all in one video, so that way I can just throw it out there and basically go like, hey, you know, here's the house from here to now. But you also have to understand, this is always going to be a project. The house is always going to be a project. Like, I'm going to move in, but I'm not replacing that as of yet. I'm going to, you know, and same thing with the chandelier that's over here. You know, and it's stuff like that, right? You know, it's going in and replacing that stuff. You know, I'm going to be moving in, but I'm going to move this to right there. You know, those are the type of things that I'm not necessarily worried about, that I can do after I move in. And I'll be a little bit happier about it after the fact, because I'm actually living here, right? But, you know, an area that I'm really pleased with is the kitchen. I know it looks like a heap of garbage, but that's because like we've been using this place as like our like central hub for work. And it looks like hot shit, but I promise you, it looked a lot worse before. Me and my wife came over here, we cleaned up and, you know, made the things look a little bit better. Another thing that we need to kind of take care of is the cabinets back in here. You know, it's stuff like that. I'm going to take care of that at some point in time, but tomorrow's main goal is to finish out this beam. You can see up here that we need a little bit more work over here. And then the back side, we got some places over here towards the bottom that needs to be fixed. And then one thing that I'm kind of concerned about, but I'm going to talk to my cousin to see what we can kind of do, is you see this gap that's right here? I'm hoping that we might be able to fix that. I don't know. So yeah, it's just a simple clamp, right? And you just kind of hold on to it. And then ideally speaking, let's see here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I can live with that. I could definitely live with that. Hopefully take out that gap. Maybe, if anything, I can take out this side piece that's right here and then replace it in there a little bit more flush. But we're using this as an anchor to fucking freaking put that base on there. I don't know. I did figure out a pretty cool stain that we might be able to do with this. So here's the stain. That does look pretty good. I do like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I'm quite pleased with that. I think I'm gonna go with that. And then, anyways, I'm gonna stain that, put some clear on it, or maybe, yeah, I should put a little bit of clear on it, like polyurethane or something like that. Anyways, but there's a couple other places that needs to be taken care of with this beam. Anyways, I'm not gonna stress too much about that, but yeah, man, I'm pretty excited with how things are coming along with it. And I mean, check it out. Closet is just about finished. My wife was going through there, making sure everything was good to go with that. And then my wife just finished doing all the touch-up paint in here. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty pleased. I'm not really too much of a fan of the paint. It didn't turn out how nor me or anybody else for that matter really wanted it to, because it needed to be a little bit lighter. Like, it's gray and it looks gray back up in here in the darker areas, and that's okay. But once you get like into the lighting of it, it looks a little blue. And like, you can see the difference over here specifically. Like, you see the lighting up there, nice and gray, but you come down here, blue. I don't like that. And I wish things were a little bit different as far as the paint goes, so I might go with the lighter paint later on. But that's later on. There's a lot of later on things. But so tomorrow, the main thing that we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be finishing the beam, and then we're gonna be placing the doors back. I don't wanna stick with the color of the doors. But what I can do is I can take the doors off, paint them, and then go back over later on. So, yeah. Well, that's going to be the end of this update, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Well, y'all, it's been just a little bit over a month, just long enough for my beard to fill in. I can say we're about 90% there, ready for this house to be done. I mean, we got the painting done. That looks fantastic. We got the flooring put down, which also looks fantastic. It's a little dirty right now because we've been going in and out and, you know, hadn't had time to mop it yet, but looks fantastic. We got our fireplace, mantle for the TV, cleared out a corner here. We're gonna move this over to there, so that way we can have the TV there and we're not having cables go back and forth. But let me show you something. This is my statement piece. I'm telling you, this is probably my favorite thing in this house that we just got done fixing, and I absolutely love it. So before, we had just a large pillar that kind of went across, and nobody liked it whatsoever. So what we did is we built a false beam. Check that out. Hold on. Come in a little bit closer. So what we decided to do was we used red oak. Well, really, it wasn't we, it was my dad. My dad had some of this laying around, and he was like, "Hey, let's use this." And I just think it looks fantastic. The red oak, it's kind of hard to tell that that's what it is, but I used some early American Minwax stain, and it just brought out all the freaking streaks in the wood, all the rings, and I'm telling you, it looks fantastic. If you look close up top, which might be a little hard to do, especially with the lighting, but you can see, like, probably this would be a better way of showing you, but like all throughout up here, you can see just how beautiful the streaks are in wood. And man, I'm really proud of it. I just got done doing that today. So the stain is still trying to stain, but here's a pretty good look from this angle here. I mean, you can just see just how rich that wood is and how much that stain just brings everything out. And I mean, here, look at, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You can see all the little streaks coming through here. You can see the eye here. I mean, my God, I'm freaking proud of this thing. I am freaking proud of it. I mean, you look at it, it doesn't necessarily look like much, but I mean, hell, me, my cousin, we built that shit, you know. My dad, he provided us with the boards, and me and my cousin, we just went at it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm really happy. It looks fantastic. The stain looks great. And I haven't even put any polyurethane or any type of clear coat over on top of it. But I really wanted to let the stain set in for like some time before I did anything else. And I wanted to see if there was like any other imperfections in the wood before I went ahead and did anything else to it. There's a couple places where I probably would feel a little bit happier if I filled them in with some like putty and shit, which is, I mean, we got it and it's right here. But all in all, I'm pretty excited with that. Pretty much finished with all the boards. As far as like the, you look over here, the baseboards, pretty much finished with all that. Got like 3 more rooms to finish with that, but that's not going to take long. Primarily what it is like, here, let me take you to the bathroom real quick. It's the 2 bathrooms and the 2 rear bedrooms that are still needing to be done. So let me go ahead and turn on the light in here. So like I said before, I need to get the baseboards for in here, but I got to make them a little bit shorter. And I did make those a little bit short enough to where it should look pretty good after everything's said and done. So I'm happy with how everything's coming along, guys. I'm very happy. Hold on a second. So this is the master bedroom. The only thing that I'm not too terribly happy with is this freaking trim that's right here. Because unfortunately, after taping it, a lot of it started kind of peeling and stripping after taking that blue tape off to try to protect it, right? Well, you know, that's how things turn out sometimes, right? Yeah, it's gotta be a smile and, you know, carry on about your business and then figure out what to do with it later. Can't really, I'm told a couple of different things what we could do, but I'm gonna test it out and see what happens. The kitchen looks freaking fantastic. Haven't quite moved in with everything in here yet. Actually still cleaning out and everything. Got this bathroom that needs to be finished. And then take you guys into the kids' room. So in here, still looks pretty bare, right? But hey, that's how it's supposed to be, right? You know, I gotta put down the tack strips, which is what I got, and that's what I'm gonna be working on tonight. Is I got the tack strips right here, place those down, and then put the carpet down, and we're gonna be good. And then we're done, guys. You know, and then I say that, but I still gotta put in the baseboards after I put in everything, put in the carpet, right? But the kids are already kind of getting acquainted with a room, which is this one right here, which is already what we had carpeted. But the carpet looks pretty good. I think it's gonna really look good after we place in the baseboards, because they'll bring everything out. But you can already tell that the carpet helps kind of dampen the sound. And I'm pretty happy with how that turns out. So yeah, you know, I'm super excited, y'all. So close, so close. I think I got about like another day. About another day worth of work. Honestly, probably not even that much. Not even that much. Probably about like another half day. And I think it's gonna move in ready. You know, obviously there's some stuff, like if you look at over here, touch-up paint, right? From the masking, right? You see that? There's some touch-up paint that needs to be done. But you can do that after you move in. And I do need to seal around this door here and then kind of clean this off to the best of my ability. But yeah, I'm telling y'all, I'm excited. I'm so excited. And everything looks so freaking good. Even in this corner right here, it looks fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm just excited, y'all. I'm just so excited. We're this close to being done. Yep, well, since I'm this close to being done, I gotta hurry, get off here and get it finished. What's going on? So hopefully this is my last day actually working on the house. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't have much more to do other than lay baseboards down. So at that point, then I can actually move in. There's one other thing I need to take care of, and that's getting some transition strips for the rooms, from going from one room to another. A good example of this would be right here. But what I did get done is laying down the carpet for both of these back rooms back here. So here's how that looks. I've never laid carpet before, but I think it looks pretty good. The only thing I gotta do, since this is a mobile home, I gotta cut out the vent hole that's right here. But I'm waiting until I get the vents before I do that. So that's what it looks like after I laid the baseboards down and then put the carpet in. This one, I ran out of baseboards, so I gotta cut and stain those, but all in all, it still looks pretty good. Over here on this side, I'm not 100% happy with, but you wanna know what? It's about as good as, you know, somebody who never done carpet before can really do. Like if you look at it from down here, you can see that there's a couple ripples in it here. But honestly, it's where my kids are going to be at, and the carpet's going to get nasty, it's going to get dirty. You know, there's nothing you can really do about that. Like kids are kids, you know, they're going to get into shit and they're going to do stuff like that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like you can't be married to the carpet, right? You know, this isn't going to be something that's going to stay for, you know, 30 plus freaking years. But what I can say is that for a guy who's never done carpet before, I think it's pretty good, right? Only using a freaking box cutter with some carpet blades on it, tack strips, and, you know, just a $45 knee kicker. You know, I think that's pretty good for a guy who's never done anything like that before, and you know, who only watched like 4 30-minute videos on YouTube about how to get it done, right? So, oh no, I think it's pretty good, or at least it's good enough for my standards. And at the end of the day, this is my house, and you know, my standards is what matters, right? So, the only thing I got to do is I got to cut this for the transition strip, and that's it. But aside from obviously putting on the baseboards, which I'm getting ready to do right now, but I got to do the baseboards for this room, and then this room here. Aside from that, I will be 100% done with everything except for the transition strips, which are going to be an easy thing to kind of take care of. But at this point, I'm saying, screw it. Go ahead, move in. Don't necessarily need the transition strips here to move in. So I'm ready. I'm 100% ready. Well, you know, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a story. I just saw this. So late one night, I didn't have a knee kicker, and it was the weekend, and it was about 8 o'clock, and the only place that was open was Home Depot, and they were about an hour and a half away, and I didn't have time to go there and get it done. So what I did was, I was desperate to try to get the carpet done, was I made a knee kicker, you know, and that was a mistake. That was 100% a mistake. Let me show you why. So if you look here, all the freaking nails that I shot in come down at an angle. Well, originally they were coming up like this right here. So that way when I put it into the carpet, it went up. But over probably, you know, 6 or 7 kicks, it ended up coming down. And I used a pry bar to put it back up. Well, let me show you something. Look at this shit. Yeah, I freaking got a nail. I had a nail go underneath my thumbnail from the pry bar slipping. And then my freaking thumb just went straight up in there. That was painful. That was very painful. But it was a lesson learned. Just go ahead and buy the right tools the right time around, you know. Don't try to improvise something that's, you know, $45, or, you know, it could, you know, quite literally send you to the hospital, and then it costs you more money afterwards. So, you know, but hey, like I said, lesson learned. Yeah. Well, anyways, I got to finish cutting the baseboards and staining them and put them in. I do have a couple that are pretty much ready, so I'm going to go ahead, grab those, put them in here, and then just see how many I need. That's going to be the main thing. So let me go ahead and just head on out there and go get it done. Well, today's a bit of a rainy day, so it's kind of hard to do any sort of moving, but what I can officially say is that we are now ready to move in to this place. That is, that's pretty awesome. So we got everything freaking finished for the most part. I mean, I got to put on some cabinet doors like these right here on the bathrooms. I got to put up that door right there, but that can come later. I can actually move in. The house is painted, floors are put in, baseboards are put in, wainscot is fixed, corners are fixed, hallway is done, bathrooms are done, bedrooms are done. Check this out. Clean bedroom. And then we got a nice little place that our kids have already settled into. Got their TV already mounted. And a bunch of their toys just scattered about. You know, but that's okay. That's okay. Organization can come after we, you know, get everything settled in. I just got to put in these wall plugs, or I say the light switch covers and the outlet plugs covers. I do need to check and make sure that all the plugs are actually working, because there are a few that are not, and you know, we can easily test that and easily fix it, but for the most part, everything's done inside. There's a lot of other things that are going on outside that I don't even want to talk about, and I don't even really want to worry about right now, but I can start putting my kitchen table in. I can put in my stove. Right up, boop, there. I can put in dishwasher. And I can get the washer and dryer fixed and put up. I can move out all these freaking tools, put them out in the shop, and just do one good solid deep cleaning, and then we can start moving in. We can really start moving in tomorrow, start putting some stuff in here and getting us squared away for that. The biggest thing that's kind of holding us back on that is the rain. So that's about it. I'm just so freaking excited. We're finally able to move in, aside from those very few things I mentioned, which can be taken those things can be done pretty quickly. So I'm pretty happy with just about everything. Move this shit, move the tools, move the doors where they're supposed to be. That door, that one right there, move that door, put the cabinets where they're supposed to be, hook those up, which that shouldn't take longer than 30 minutes max, you know, just making sure the alignment's good to go and everything like that. But we're done. We're done. Man, just so freaking excited. There is one thing I do got to take care of, and it's this door. I got to figure out what to do. So my dad was saying put some Lexel on it and put like a little clear thing of like, kind of like a caulk, like, you know, just put like clear caulk, but it's glue. And well, the reason why is because this actually used to be a dual pane, and I guess they broke the first piece of glass that was on here, and there's little shards sticking out like that. That's a pretty big thing I gotta take care of, because heaven forbid that one of my kids, you know, gets one of those little pieces, puts them in their mouth, or you know, they just cut their hands, whatever it may be. So yeah, I gotta clean up that door and then put some stuff on it, and then I think that's going to be a pretty big thing I gotta take care of pretty quickly. But for the most part, we've been keeping a pretty good eye on them and making sure they're not even going in that direction, because we also have that fireplace there. So there's really no reason they should be over here for right now. I do got to get something for that fireplace, because my littlest one keeps crawling over there to it. So yeah, I got to do something with that. But yeah, man, we're finished. We're done. Good solid deep clean. move out all the tools. Just put some grease and shit over there, or whatever, Lexel, that's what it's called, Lexel. Put some Lexel over on that door, clean up the door, and then do that. And then put up the singular door, and then the 6 cabinet doors, like these right here. You know, put those 6 cabinet doors up for where they are in the bathroom, which is what this is here. Because we got 3 in that bathroom and 3 in the other. And then Dunzo, freaking Dunzo. Everything else can come later. We can paint, we can do whatever we want after the freaking fact. But when I say by painting is we can paint like those type of things, like the bathroom stuff underneath there, stuff like that. But yeah, I guess now is just to compile all this into one video to the best of my abilities, maybe try to give you guys a little bit before and after pics. Yeah. But I do got to clean up this real quick. It's not going to take me a couple minutes, and hurry up and get to the house, lock up the shop, and then eat me some dinner, and then start planning out the move. So that's going to be the biggest thing, is I got to battle rain, and that's gotta just make sure my shit's not getting wet. But that's about it. I'm pretty happy, guys. Pretty freaking happy. We'll do like a full house tour here in a little while, or actually what I can do is I can actually just go ahead and do that right before I walk out. So let me finish cleaning this up, and then I will switch it around and give you guys a full walkthrough with all the junk that's still here. So, you know, you guys have a pretty good idea of like, well, just everything that I've been working with. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the video, well, end my segment of this real quick, and then just give you guys another good little walk around. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.